good morning, Atlanta Hawks fans. Good morning, everyone. How is everyone doing? Hopefully, you guys are doing great. Myself and Chris A1 from day one, my guy, my friend, my brother from another. We're doing a show this morning.
Yes, sir. What
Doing
we
a show.
talking about here?
We talk about these Atlanta Hawks, man.
Yeah,
We are
man.
talking about these Atlanta Hawks, man. I mean, dude, let's be real. What a comeback last night. I mean, epic comeback last night. Good morning, Robert Blackman. How you doing,
What's good,
sir?
Robert?
Hopefully all well. What an epic comeback. And when I say epic, Chris, I mean epic. Look at Chris. I'm working last night.
Mm.
I'm watching the Hawks game. Um, I think we were down by 11 at halftime, right? I'm kind of watching
Yep.
in and out.
It
I'm
was
tuning
11 at halftime.
in. Third quarter at the beginning, I see, oh, okay, the Hawks have closed it within five. It's like 89-84. Doing well, Robert. And hey, we're glad to see you this morning, man.
Yes, sir.
So I'm watching it. It's the third quarter, right? It's 89
Right.
to 84, and I get a little break in the action at work. So I'm kind of watching it, and the Hawks are getting trounced. I think the lead
Mhm.
got to as much as 19, right?
21.
21. Yeah. I knew it was like that, right? So now I'm like, oh man, okay. I know A1 and I are going to talk about this tomorrow, but gosh, I thought we'd do better than that. Matter of fact, I think A1 before the game started, I said, look, man, we're gonna beat these fools down. I was like, we're gonna
Hmm.
break this, whatever this is, because they've had our number, and I remember saying to you, we're gonna break this, whatever this is. You know what I mean? And we're gonna demolish them, and that's gonna be it. So that conversation
Didn't look good early.
did
Didn't
not.
look good
It didn't look
early, boy. I admit it did not look good early.
it
And
didn't.
remember, I don't know if you remember, it was a show that was did. I can't remember if you was there or not. I want to say you was, but either way it go, it was like we was just thinking about teams. Oh yeah, it was like outside of Boston. Because remember, Bryce, he picked, I think he picked Boston or something like that as one of the teams that he was worried about. And remember, I said, shoot, I want to beat the Chicago Bulls. And I
Yeah,
know I had to break it down and everything, but I was just like, yeah, because they've had our number. And I don't know what it is about when they see us. They just like, oh yeah, they just turn into the Monstars or something like that when
bro.
they start
Oh
seeing
my
us. And
God,
it just,
bro.
because we lost 5 out of the last 6 coming into this game against the Chicago Bulls.
Bro,
So
it was
like
raining threes.
yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So it started off with that Javon Carter. That first quarter,
Oh my God.
19 for Javon Carter in the first quarter. It's just like, come on now, like anomalies just continue to happen to the Atlanta Hawks, and it's just almost like, all right, so which random guy is just gonna go off on the Atlanta Hawks? That's almost how it felt. And Javon Carter has never done that in his career. Just like I haven't seen that man. Like he was coming into the game like averaging 9 points. He had that in the first
5 minutes.
minute and a half of the game because he was just coming down and just launching. It was just
My
crazy.
God, bro.
Honestly, that doesn't happen. You already know the Hawks, saying blow the doors off of this game. But the Hawks, because of that first quarter, they had to claw their way back into it. And the Bulls were trying to play keep away. The Bulls were trying to play keep away all game. And every time the Hawks would get just a little bit closer, next thing you know, they start firing from three, especially Zach LaVine. And it just like it was crazy. What's
Bro,
going on, fam? What it do? What
what's
it
going
do?
on, Atlanta GA Faithful? How you doing,
Yeah,
brother? Hopefully all is
faithful.
well, man. Good to see you this morning. Bro,
Yes, sir.
bro, let me tell you something. Zach Levine was insane last night. Like it was raining threes. It was like every time, and I'll tell you something. The Hawks did something in the third quarter that I didn't like, and that was they really tried to play catch up with the threes, and they weren't falling.
They wasn't
And it's
falling.
like at some point we figured out, hey, first off, we got to stop. We got to guard Zach Levine from three, and then we got to catch up our way. And they started doing that. You know what I mean? They made a few
Yep.
threes, but they basically started. I think they went on a 24-2 run. Like, bro, they scored 50 points in the fourth quarter. That is insane. That is 100% insane. I've never seen a game like that. Let me tell you something. And it was late in the fourth quarter. I think
Right. Of course.
it's like 10 minutes left and we're down by like 15, right? And I literally look away because, like I was saying, I was working, and the next thing I know, we're within 5 or 6, and I'm like, okay, we got a shot. And then they just kept going and kept going. What a team we have, man! What a squad! What a squad! I don't know that I've ever seen a Hawks team score 50 points in a quarter. That's number one. Number two, I don't know that
No.
I've ever seen a Hawks team come back that late. Michael says, "Fellas,
What's
what's up?
going on, family?
Fire. How you doing, Michael?" Chris,
Yeah.
talk to me about this Hawks team. Like that comeback last night, in my mind's eye, was one for the ages. What are your thoughts concerning it? Because that comeback was late, late, late. What
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, as for the comeback, we was on an uphill battle all game because the Bulls, they were shooting lights out. At one point in time, they were shooting over 50% from both the field and behind the 3-point line. But one thing that I did like, that I noticed, and I'm glad that other people noticed it as well, because I heard other content creators talking about it, was the fact that Quinn finally made adjustments on the Chicago Bulls shooters. Talking about specifically Zach LaVine. In that third quarter, Zach LaVine went nuclear. Okay. It just seemed
Oh my
like it didn't matter what he did. He just, so he was coming down and he was pulling up. He gained the confidence. And we've seen Zach LaVine in State Farm Arena do things like this before. So remember that game where he had like 39 at halftime and you thought he was it was crazy. I don't know what it is, but at the end of the day, the Hawks were able to start, getting the ball out of his hands. I was sitting there watching the game and I was just like, I wonder how long before the Hawks, take the ball out of Zach LaVine's hands, before they force it out of their hands, force somebody else to start making shots. And here and there, the Bulls were making shots. Here and there, you would see, so the Hawks, like I said, they were making strides. It seemed like they'd get down by 7. Then next thing you know, the Bulls would go off on another onslaught. And next thing you know, they're down by 15 again. They're down by 11. It was a struggle the whole game. And like, again, it felt like they were playing keep away, but also the Hawks were just struggling, with their offensive shot as well. They did start trying to turn into just a completely 3-point shooting team. And I'm glad that they scrapped that, quickly, because that's not their game.
No.
So with that being said, like, I'm glad they started playing like inside out, going into the paint, going into getting in there, trying to get to the charity stripe, because ain't nothing like those free points when the clock ain't moving. So, and then that's another thing too. Like the Hawks, they knocked down their free throws. That's another thing that helped them, because if they miss free throws like how they did, let's say against like Milwaukee, if they missed free throws like they did in that game, they wouldn't have won this game. So, like, it's a character win. It shows resilience. It shows just what this team can be. And this team is going to start to believe even more, Terry. Remember now, this young team who's winning, learning how to win together, is going to start believing in themselves more often. Hopefully they don't, like Dyson Daniels said last night. Hopefully, so you don't want to get yourself in that type of a hole. So, like every game and stuff like that, having to claw your way out of it. But to know that you were down 21 points in the fourth quarter, and you was able to come back. T. Will, it was 4 instances in the fourth quarter alone. Well, excuse me. Yeah, fourth quarter. And then it was one like at the end of the third quarter. But 4 instances in the fourth quarter, the Hawks were down. The Hawks had a 0.6% chance to win the game. 0.6 chance, because that 4 different times the Bulls had a 99.4% chance to win the game. And the Hawks still was able to come back at the 5-minute and 31-second mark. The Bulls was up 126-110. That was the last time that it was 99.4% chance of win probability for the Chicago Bulls. And the Hawks would then go on a 20-0 run to take the lead since the first quarter, and they kept it. Resilient win. This team right here is showing that, like, that they got fight, man. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what team it is, they're coming for you. They're going to continue to fight.
Look, my question is this the comeback of the year? I know what I think, but I'm interested to know, Like to your point, 5 minutes, 10 seconds, you're down by 16 points. That's 8 baskets. And you go on a 20-0 run. Chris, that just doesn't happen in the NBA, or it rarely happens. I can't remember in recent times when I've seen that. Is this the comeback of the year? Plain and simple.
For the Atlanta Hawks, I would say I would have to go ahead and put it up there as the comeback of this year. So far, yes, and hopefully you don't have to dig yourself out of any holes like that no more the rest of the season. But right now, as we stand, I would say yes. Also, because we had 0 turnovers in the fourth quarter. That's the first time that I believe that's happened. I know we've had like 1, we've had 2, in the quarter, but I don't recall off the top of my head just from watching every Hawks game so far that the Hawks have a quarter outside of last night to where they had 0 turnovers.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, somebody please correct me. I don't mind, but I don't believe that the Hawks had a quarter like that so far this season until last night. So you have that going. And then, honestly, I know we're going to get into players, individual players in a minute, but I just got to salute Jalen Johnson last night because even when the game looked dismal, he still was having a big rebound or having an assist here or, scoring some points and everything like that. Like it was situational, but and also Zachary Ricochet, man, we're gonna talk about him too. And honestly, it was the most emotion that I seen out of Zach all season. And probably that's gonna be good for him. Shoot, man, good for him, being able to get that aggression out, being outspoken in that game, it was actually pleasing to have, some of the teammates have to calm him down a little bit. He was mad about that 3-point that 3-pointer that they called the offensive foul on. Real talk, real quick though, Terry. That was an offensive foul though.
Yeah,
he didn't have to kick the leg out at all. I'm just being real. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that.
Now you know how it is, man. You feeling it. He was on one. He was on one last night. That and the block he had. Now that block was. You can say he clipped him on the elbow, whatever. But I mean that block was just.
They see Kobe White drew that foul because Zach. Like he was just a hair in front of Zach, and Zach was just trying to get back into position, and all Kobe White did was just do what guards do, and try to lock up the arms and all that stuff like that to try to get the referee's attention. Like, hey, look, like he kind of got me and everything, and that's where the foul took place. I was like, I understood it, but at the end of the day, I was happy to see the fire because Zach has been pretty timid for the most part. As far as like emotion goes, so of course trying to be a good teammate. But last night, we seen some cursing from Zach Ricochet and everything like that on the court. And I was like, okay. I said, let me see what you got then, man. And then like honestly, like I said in my short last night, like the man, like he definitely was a charge. He definitely put a charge into the offense and put a charge into the team. But like I said, Jalen Johnson was that whole motor with that 30 and 15, man. Finally breaking over the 29-yard barrier, as I heard Dixon Way say last night. And that was true because he'd get to that 29 and just seemed like he just couldn't get into the 30s. But happy for JJ to have that big game last night. Come on now. 15 rebounds and 30 points. That right there helped get you a win.
I tell you what's interesting. I felt like during that entire 20-0 run, the coach was punishing his team, the coach of the Bulls, saying,
Bulls by not calling timeout.
Because I'm like, damn, dude, like he did not call a timeout. And I'm like,
he left 2 in the chamber. I guess he thought he could take them with him to the next game.
Yeah. That was, I'm saying to myself, like, what are you doing? I'm glad he didn't.
Oh, of
I'm
course.
glad he didn't. But some coaches will, hey, look, you're not listening to me. You got yourself into it. You get yourself out, and they didn't. And I think that really backfired. And but I was just so shocked to see that. I've seen college coaches do that, but very rarely do I see an NBA coach. Fine, you guys want to listen? All right, fine. You're just gonna sit out there and suffer. And he did that, or at least he didn't say that. But that's the way it seemed to me. What are your thoughts on that?
To be honest with you, I think that he thought. Well, I think honestly, I don't know exactly what he thought, but if I had to think, I would be like, well, maybe he was felt confident that his team would be able to shoot their way out of it. Maybe like even though the Hawks are on a run and everything like that, I believe that he thought, well, my team has been able to withstand every drive that they've been able to do, every run that they've been able to do so far. Yes, they are making a run, but all we need is like two or three threes from Zach LaVine or a couple of threes from Javon Carter. And we're going to keep on playing keep away. The game is almost over. We're at the 4-minute mark, and so the game is almost over. Maybe we'll be able to, knock down a few shots. Maybe he got overconfident. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm glad that he did it. I'm glad that he didn't call timeout. I'm glad that he didn't bail his guys out. I'm glad he didn't regroup his guys. Any way that you want to say it, I'm glad that it happened because we seen a historical feat last night by those Atlanta Hawks, giving the Hawks fans, a little extra Christmas present a day after Christmas, right there. And go now, hey, man, it's time to string some wins together, man. Go streaking, yeah, man, time to go streaking, man.
Yeah, so for me, again, 10-0 run, 12-0 run, at that point, I'm calling a timeout, and I don't even coach in the NBA. You know what I mean? But to get to 20-0 before, like, that's inexcusable. Like, I honestly, I have no idea what he was thinking. And by the way, let me do some housekeeping. Michael says, my bad, Terry. I think I said Troy last time. Hey, man, all good. All good, Mike. All good, man. No worries, no harm.
Hey, at least he got the first letter right.
Yeah, he did. That's right.
Terry got multiple names in the game, but people don't even know.
I really do. I'm T. Will. I'm Gideon. I got my, so it's all good, man. Atlanta J Faithful says, "Stay blessed, y'all. Sunday night is coming. ATL,
oh, yeah.
Let's go.
I'm ready.
That's
I ain't gonna lie. I'm ready for Sunday night football.
Amen.
I am ready. Amen. I have cleared my schedule, making sure I am good to go.
Yep.
Shoot, man, I am good to go for Sunday night football. Falcons, Commanders, Penix, Daniels, Quinn, Morris. Make sure you're there.
Let's do it. Jared Talk says, "Hey fellas, what up, Jared?" Michael says, "Games like this make it hard to not want to trade CC." Oh wow, Michael showed violence this morning. Time to take.
I'm just saying, Larry Nance, bro. Larry Nance, he stretches the floor.
Larry Nance
for you.
was, and let me tell you something. He was another one last night, bro. He was another one. These Hawks were phenomenal last night. They were simply bro. 5 minutes and 10 seconds left. Like literally, I look away for like 2 minutes, and the next thing I know, we're down.
Did you turn it off? Did you turn it off, Terry?
I had it on one of my tablets, right? I'm working.
Okay.
I got this issue that had my attention or whatever, and I look up, and we're down 5 points, and I'm like, okay, well at least we're fighting, we're not quitting.
They started getting sloppy.
I really started watching it, and dude, the intensity for me, they rose their intensity. They rose their level of intensity. And Chicago didn't. Let me tell you something. When Uncle Mo puts on, and when I say Uncle Mo, I mean momentum. When Uncle Mo puts on a jersey of that team, you can feel it.
You can.
Which is why, for me, at a 12-0 run, I'm calling time out there. Hey guys, let's regroup.
Right.
That to me felt like it was punitive. And look, if you don't do what I say do, you get stuff in, you're gonna get stuff out. That's what I felt. But anyway, enough on that.
I'm gonna tell you whereas for me, it's like, okay, if you didn't call timeout all this time, it's like, are you really going to call a timeout and just really gather your team? It was at the minute, let me see, I have my notes here. It was at the point to where, okay.
It was like, what, two
minutes? Okay, well, for me, I have it right here. It says the Bulls offense started to fall apart. They had turnovers, and when Trey got fouled by Zach LaVine on that clear path, right there was when, I said, if you're a head coach, I feel like your last shot to really just rally your troops was right there, where, I said, they had to do the review and everything like that. I'm not saying that he wasn't over there trying to be inspiring or not anything like that. But after that was the time to just be like, all right, y'all, like, look, we are losing this. It's time to run our offense, get some good plays, some good shots, stop the turnovers and everything like that. But it just seemed like there wasn't nothing said because they came out still playing the same way, sloppy basketball at the end. And shoot, man, the Bulls, like I said, they were up at one point in time by 21 points, but free throws, 3-pointers, and everything like that helped our Atlanta Hawks be able to take the game back. And then you just knew that Trey was going to shoot the three back when Vujacic had ran past him. He kind of like let him slide past with nobody else around. I'm like, he's wide open. I'm like, shoot, I honestly, and I know he took like a couple of heat checks. I know he took a couple of ill-advised shots in the first half. I understand that. Not taking that away, he was 4 of 11 from 3. But that shot right there was like the biggest shot of the night. It tied the game. And honestly, I feel like you should seen the souls of the Bulls players just lift right on up out their body and just head right into the Raptors. After that, just when Trey knocked down that 3 to tie that ball game,
that was
I
it,
was like,
man.
it's ball game.
That was it.
I was like, it's ball game,
right
y'all.
there.
The souls just left right on out their body, and they're like, well, that's it, y'all.
I think
we tried.
They were shocked. I really think they were in shock, Chris.
Oh, yeah, man. They were talking noise. They were talking noise. They had Javon Carter, Zach LaVine, he talking noise, you know what I'm saying, everything like that. They just had like timely plays from guys who barely play, like Torrey Craig had a big night last night. You know what I'm saying? It just was crazy, like the production that they had from the random guys. But at the end of the day, just like Dixon Way is saying right here, man, character building win by Atlanta. Defense turns into offense. That was definitely the key. Dyson Daniels, he had a key steal. JJ had 2 key steals. I believe JJ got both of his steals in the fourth quarter. But regardless, though, man, you just had game-saving plays. You had guys laying it all out there. And I was just like, okay, Hawks, like y'all really started to climb back into it when we got, like you said, about the 12-0 run. I'm like, okay, Hawks, like let's finish the deal. Let's finish the deal. You got it. You got the energy. Like you said before, Terry, Uncle Mo threw on his jersey. And he was like, all right, Hawks, we riding. What we going to do?
He threw on the Hawks
jersey. That game. Yeah, man. The Hawks were able to win this game, finish the game, bro. Like, we do not win games like this last season.
We do not.
Okay?
We do not.
We do,
and we won by
win games like this.
We won by 8 points.
Right.
So it was
we were down by 21 and ended up winning by 8.
Yes. We were down by 16 with 5 minutes left. I know that's happened before, but that rarely happens like with that little time left. This Hawks team is phenomenal. Ladies and gentlemen, we got Dixon Way in the chat. Of course, he is the hardest working man in this business. This man broadcasts everything. And if you haven't seen his broadcast, you're just missing out, man. He broadcasts the Braves, Hawks, Falcons, everybody. You know what I mean? Bulldogs, maybe even some Gators, I think. But, hey, man, he's just phenomenal. And, hey, man, Dixon Way, good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Robert Blackman says he will be in Washington this Sunday. Hey, good luck, Robert.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. Go out there. Go out there and help our Atlanta Falcons, man. Go out there and help our Atlanta Falcons.
Help the boys out, man. We appreciate that. Robert Falcon, the fans at the game help the Hawks. You know what? That's a good point, Robert. That is a great point. Because Quinn spoke to that in his after the game, post-game interview. And he said, very rarely do we get to comment on it, but the fans were really big. And I think that had to be a part of it, man. It really, because for him to comment on it, they had to feel it. They had to feel that energy. They really did. And shout out to the fans who were there, man. Shout out, man. Shout out. Way to represent ATL, way to represent the Hawks, way to bring that energy. We talk about that all the time on podcasts. Way to put that in action. Again, 12th man last night, or 6th man last night, whatever you want to call it. 16th man, whoever. They look.
I'm about to say I can't call him the 6th man. I know we got a 6-man Kia area and everything, but I'm sorry, the 6th man that I only want to talk about is DeAndre Hunter. Mr. 6 for 14, he didn't give you 3 threes. He was 3 for 7 from the behind the arc, but they were timely threes. 25 points for this man. He gave you 6 rebounds, gave you 1 assist, 1 steal, 1 block. at the end of the day, man. Oh, and let me tell you about this. He was 10 for 10 from the foul line. Him and
Yeah,
Trae Young
that was
hitting
big.
those free throws
That was
was
big.
big, man.
That
That
was
was
big.
absolutely huge. Absolutely huge, man. DeAndre Hunter just continues to hammer home that sixth man of the year, some candidacy. Like, he's definitely doing it, man. Yeah, it will be cold too, Robert Blackman. It
Yes,
will,
sir.
but
Dress
I'm gonna tell
warm.
you what, it was cold down there at State Farm Arena last night too. We got real cold, real fast,
Yeah, yeah,
real
it did.
fast in the fourth quarter, man.
It
So
did. But then,
shout out to
guess
Trey
what?
Hunter, man.
Ice Trey showed up and said, "Guess what? I'm colder. I'm
Yeah,
cold."
right.
DeAndre Hunter showed up and said, "Guess what?" And Reese Shea showed up and said, "Guess what?" And JJ was there the whole time. Fellas, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And Dyson Daniels was doing Dyson Daniels stuff. And wow, man. Dixon Way says it was a 6% chance of winning the
Yeah,
game.
0.6.
With 5
0.6.
minutes left in the game to score 50 and only give up 25 was phenomenal
Mm-hmm.
basketball. And it really was.
That's what I said 4 different times, family. The Bulls had a 99.4% chance.
Yeah.
We just need to walk around and call ourselves the 0.6ers. we
Oh,
the
wow.
0.6ers.
Oh,
You
wow.
understand, bro? But bro, we didn't have any chance
Not at
supposedly to
all.
win this
Not
game.
at all.
That's what I'm
Not at
saying.
all.
Like, we don't a game like this last year, we don't necessarily win. It actually made me feel as good as it did when we came back against Boston when we were down 30, and we came back against Boston last year. If it had those kind of vibes, because I was feeling the same way. I'm like, boy, how about them Hawks? You know what I'm saying? Being able to come back against a team, you know what I'm saying, that had you down. Regardless, it's an NBA team. I know it wasn't Boston, it wasn't Cleveland last night, but it still is an NBA team that you lost 5 of the last 6 against, and you finally was able to break through this season. Even though the Bulls still did reach their season mark against the Hawks as having 130 points scored against them so far this season, but the Hawks were still able to be resilient enough to say, hey, look, we can't go shot for shot with you. We're going to have to start running our offense, let you start making some mistakes and capitalizing off of them. Again, Billy Donovan, I appreciate you again for not calling timeout, possibly, it's recalibrating your troops. But, hey, at the end of the day, it's their loss. It's our game. We have to build on it because I believe we have one more home game, and I believe that's Saturday against Miami. So that's going to be another tough game, too. That's going to be another game to where you need to see what you have. We start off slow, man. I would love to see us get a quicker pace in this game against Miami, just to not, possibly put ourselves behind the 8 ball when we do play against them. And, it's going to be the end of our home stretch because after that, I believe we go on the road. And, so I just want to string together some wins, man. We got to start stringing together some wins instead of like going to seesaw, win, loss, or anything like that. We've been through that plenty of times as a Hawk fan. And it's time to string together some wins, man. Like Robert said, move up in the standings. It's time. It's time, y'all. It's time. It's real tight-knit right there in the Eastern Conference. I believe the Hawks have the ability to separate themselves from the rest of the teams in the conference.
Bro, that fourth quarter, I mean, I've never seen anything like that before. To score 50 points and 0 turnovers and hold them to 25 is akin to scoring 9 runs in the bottom of the ninth in baseball. It's akin to being down by 3 touchdowns with 6 minutes left and coming back to win. It's, if you're down by 3 touchdowns, you score a touchdown, you get an interception, you score another touchdown, you get a fumble recovery, you score another touchdown, and you end up winning by 10 points, and you were down with 6 minutes by 21 points. That is what last night's comeback was akin to. I don't know that I've been a Hawks fan a long time. Okay. I cannot recall. And if it happened, hey man, you other Hawks fans out there that's been here for a while, let's talk about it. I can't remember seeing that, Chris. I really can't.
Yeah,
even in the
points in one quarter.
Season, even in the 2021 season, I don't know that we did that. Like as a matter of fact, hey, I'd invite anybody out there in the chat, look it up. But 50 points, no turnovers.
Zero.
You had to almost be perfect you're down by 8 buckets with 5 minutes left, which means now you have to score. You got to hold them to nothing. We went 20 possessions in a row and they got nothing. I mean, that is unheard of. And we didn't turn the ball over. That in and of itself, like I'd love some stat guy. I can't remember the last time that happened. And I'm old.
Bro, I'm just saying, I don't think that we've ever done that. 50 points and 0 turnovers, like not even one. I highly doubt that we've ever done that before. And if it has, I really got to see that too. Like I would love to see that. I would love for somebody to pull that info out, but I really don't think it exists. 50 points with 0 turnovers in the quarter. I just don't think that happened. You really can say you said you had to be almost perfect. I believe the Hawks were perfect. I believe the Hawks were perfect because you think about it, one bad turnover could have possibly had Uncle Mo say, but had Uncle Mo maybe pulling his jersey off. Maybe pulling it off. One turnover. So we had to be perfect, especially within that 20-0 run. When the Bulls were being sloppy and the ball was going up and down, it could have bounced a different way, but it bounced away for the Atlanta Hawks. Like all that, everything had to go your way in that fourth quarter. Everything. And, even though they were still scoring points and still inching away from you, at least you were still putting the ball in the basket, starting to put pressure on them. And when Trey hit that 3 to make it 126 to 113, it was like, okay. The ball started to go into the basket. Okay, turnover by the Bulls. Okay, missed shot by the Bulls. Okay, another missed shot by the Bulls. Okay, another missed shot, another turnover. Wait a minute, the Hawks. It just was a domino effect. Just one thing after another, and they could not stop the train from going down the trail. They could not get a hold of the tractor trailer. You ever seen when you're traveling? You seen those little those heels they have for like a runaway truck. And everything like that, they couldn't find those heels last night to slow that truck down. It was coming downhill, and they lost control of it. And the Atlanta Hawks was able to take advantage and get this quality win. Man, it's such a quality win. When you go back to the NBA Cup, those were quality wins. So being able to get to those semifinals, and I believe that the times from then and previous losses catapulted this team into a different stratosphere in that particular fourth quarter. Like, we got to win this game. We cannot allow this team to beat us yet again. That'll be the third time this season. Absolutely not. We got to figure out a way to do it, and we did. That's all I got to say about that. We had to figure out a way to do it, and yet we did.
Bro, that's I just haven't seen that as far back as I can recall. I mean, going back to the days of Tree Rowlands, Dan Roundfield, Eddie Johnson, I do not remember. I've seen Dominique. I don't remember a comeback like that, and it could have happened. I'm sure it has, but I do not recall a 50-point, 50 scoring output.
0 turnovers.
0 turnovers, and only allowing 25 points. Because if you score 50, but you give up 40, you still lose, right?
You still lose. You score 50 and still give up 50, you still lost by 21. So,
bro, you had to hold them. That was again, man. I don't mean to beat a dead horse, but I can't recall. I can't recall performance, but anyway, man, look it.
And one of our snipers, and we was missing Bogey for the second game in a row, who had like a lower leg injury. So you was missing Bogey, so that's some shooting. You're missing Onyeka, that's some rebounds, that's some effort, toughness. You don't have your backup point guard and Kobe Bucket for the rest of the year. Cody Zeller, I don't know what's but Mo G, he's brought back up to the Hawks, but he didn't play. He was a healthy scratch last night. I forgot that EJ Lindell is with the Bulls, by the way. Remember, he was a part of that trade, but he's with the Bulls now, by the way, but he didn't play. But either way it go, you had all those guys out. And Gary Matthews, Garrison Matthews did not play well last night
He
on an
did not.
offensive standpoint. He was
He did
1
not.
for 7.
He was
So
clinking.
my thing is, you didn't have your snipers who normally shoot the ball at a high clip, and you still was able to come back, score 50 points, come back from 21, and still win by 8.
Let me tell you
Finding ways to win, bro. Finding ways to win. This doesn't happen. I'm sorry, in the last 2 years. I don't even think the 2021 season. I don't know if that Hawks team had it in them to do this either. I don't know.
I don't think it's happened in 10 years, Chris. Like
Oh, nah.
I dare anybody to I don't think this has happened. Even going back to the teams with Jeff Teague and all, I don't think that has happened. And if it has, great. Hey, somebody looking up. But anyway, this Hawks defense in the fourth quarter was phenomenal. They were ferocious. They turned up. I mean, to hold somebody 20 possessions in a row to nothing. Let me tell you something. That's an MVP performance. 20 possessions in a row, Chris. 20.
Yes.
Not 10, not 12, not 15, 20, 2-0. That's akin, like, that is crazy. That is insane. Right?
And then also, too, we didn't win the points in the paint battle again too. It was 58-56, so it was still close, but we still didn't win that. We lost the fast break points. Of course, saying that the biggest lead for us was 8, and that was at the end of the game. But bench points, we was able to come back in that because we was losing both of those categories by double digits at one point in the first half. So bench points, they started to come back 45-43. Our points off turnovers were 19, and we only had 12. Remember last time we spoke, I said the Hawks need to clean up those turnovers because those 20-plus turnovers wasn't going to do it. So just imagine if the Hawks had 18 turnovers, 20 turnovers, they would have not won that game. So to only have 12 turnovers, cut those down out of the 20s pretty much by almost 10. That is a great moniker and a great test to, saying Quinn telling the guys, hey, man, we got to clean it up. We got to clean it up. And it had to happen. I'm so glad that it did last night for the Atlanta Hawks, man. Again, it just, though you had categories where you was losing, you had things that was happening for you, and everything had to go right in that fourth quarter. And as I'm just looking at it, like it was quality minutes from guys. Quality team win, effort win all the way around, and I was happy to see all the guys who was able to get some run. Like Mike said, it's hard not to. Let me see. It said the Hawks PR staff got to look this up. Yeah, I know, right? Hawks PR staff got to look it up. Jalen Johnson played that whole fourth quarter too. I don't know if you noticed, but he played that whole fourth quarter. Went 4 for 5 in the fourth quarter. Gave you 4 rebounds, 2 assists, a steal. So he did have 1 steal in the fourth quarter. And 11 points, man. Him and Trey, they had double digits. And then Dre right behind them being the 6th man. But my thing is, I still got to say, if Zachary Richer doesn't give you that spark of those 8 points, going 3 or 4 from the foul line, he did make a 3. He was aggressive, showing that emotion. I'm sorry. That right there is just like a key. I feel like a key cog on why the Hawks was able to go off after then. Because if I'm not mistaken, the Hawks went on a 43-23 run after the coaches challenge. So it's just like at the end of the day, man, they took off. They took off after that, man. So
that's an understatement. Like that, bro, that's an understatement. So let's get into individual performances.
Let's do it.
JJ was simply phenomenal, man. Because JJ was the one consistent throughout the entire game. I'll say that.
Yeah.
JJ turned it up the entire game. He was there. He was a leader. He was dispersing the ball when he needed to. He was playing defense. He was making shots. If there was an MVP to last night's game, it would be JJ. He is really flourishing in this new role. He's accepted it. He's running with it. He's playing well. And I think he is a major cog in that wheel and one of the major reasons that we are winning, every night, or winning. When we do win, JJ's out there. Let's put it that way. So
right.
JJ is balling out of his mind right now. I mean, he's getting after it, man. He is
No,
true
he is.
100%
He had
getting
he
after it.
had 13. He had 13 and 10 at halftime. So he was already coming into it with a double double. You know what I'm saying? And then to have pretty much another 17 points in the second half. You know, so to go ahead and finally get over that 30 mark and still give you 5 big rebounds, like that's what you need, man. That's definitely what you need. If JJ doesn't play like that, that's another thing. Everything had to go well for you. Everything had to work well. We had to move well. And we did, man. I was, so you just happy to see it. You just happy to see it with a team who is younger. I was also happy to see early in the game too. Trae Young getting onto CC. It was something I guess he didn't roll correctly or wasn't looking for the ball. It was like early on in the game. And so that was just showing. I just wanted to mention that because that's just showing more leadership. Trae getting after people and everything like that. It's like you've seen it, but it wasn't to that degree. I think he really seeked out CC because like even after he made the layup, he like, hey, went and pulled on this jersey and started talking to him like, hey, I said, this is what I need you to do and everything like that. So I was happy to see that just because, again, just stating to Trae's maturity. And Trae Young, he was big as well. Again, he did have some ill-advised shots in that first half. I think he was trying to get it going and also just trying to help the team out. But I already know he meant well. It was good intentions, but at least later on, the good action did, some follow up to the good intentions. Because Trae Young, he was big in that fourth quarter.
Yes,
Trae
he
Young
was.
gave you 16 points in that fourth quarter.
And
16 Trae gave you.
He hit key shots. So to your point, when it was 26-13, he hit the three to make it 26-16, and then I think he hit a three to tie it from way.
That was the one where I was talking about. Okay, so he had the ball. We had just got the ball, and he had it, and he came down. CC went by, Vujicic went by, and Trae kind of like, shouldered him off a little bit, but nobody came to guard Trae. And then it was a late closeout. By the time he closed out, Trae had already zeroed in on it, and it was the ball was gone. So it was crazy in that sequence how no one played up on the ball carrier, knowing that Trae will shoot it from the logo. So my thing is Uncle Mo had his jersey on. It was in transition. It was in rhythm. A lot of shots was in rhythm. Even Vit Krejci hit a three that was in rhythm in that game. So it just like it was starting to become like in rhythm. So boom, you knocked it down. And again, I'm telling you, man, when Trae knocked down that game tying three, the souls of the Chicago Bulls rose right on up their body and went up into the Raptors, going on somewhere, looking like looking like that old movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit when they were laughing themselves to death. The soul just coming right on out the body, and you love to see it, man. But you knew after that the morale was completely gone. And it was gone before then. It was done before then, to be honest. But that shot right there, it was like, okay, we ain't got it, guys. We ain't got it. This crowd is into it. The crowd was absolutely electric. The announcers and in-ring announcers and everything like that, talking about Bob and Dominique, and then talking about the guys who, who rallied up the crowd and everything, telling the Hawks defense and the big Tigers. Everybody played a role last night into the Hawks comeback. And salute to the fans, man. Salute to the fans that went there a day after Christmas, a day after gifts, a day after thanks and everything, to go in there and support those Atlanta Hawks. And hopefully this game right here will help, other Hawks fans see, hey, we do have a team that is fighting. We do have a team that is never out of it. We do have a team that is worth going to go see and worth going to support. And you never know what can happen when you do that, because look at 21. Nobody's seen that coming. But when the Hawks did start taking off, the fans started coming out more. You start having State Farm Arena sold out for playoff games, stuff like that. That's what I'm ready to get back to as a Hawks fan and as a Hawks content creator, man. I definitely want to continue to see fans continue to support this team through the wins, through the losses, through the ups, the downs, because it's still going to be growing pains. It's still going to be games you're going to be like, come on, man, we shouldn't be losing this game. We shouldn't be. It's going to be growing pains. At the end of the day, what are they going to do about it? And last night, if they can do that every time, sign me up. You know what I'm saying? Don't don't keep doing that. But you know what I mean? As far as like that resilience and as far as that fight, that toughness, that's what I want to see.
Bro, without a doubt. I mean, look it. This team blew my mind last night. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not gassing it. They blew my mind. The fact that they were able to come in here. Oh, wait a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Wait a minute. What look who stepped in the building.
What it do?
We got Ryan.
Y'all see it. Y'all see it.
Oh yeah.
Man, it's Atlanta everything here. I'm good, man. I'm at the job. You know what I'm saying? I was like, you know what? I had a break. I see the fellas talking about these Hawks. I can tell you right now, I got some folks pissed off up here in Philly right now. Y'all think y'all gonna do something. Here's the thing. As I told them, I said, y'all still want to get y'all lick back from 2021 when we put y'all at y'all house. Sent y'all to summer vacation in your house.
That's right. Send them to Apple. Watching us.
Tell them blame Benjamin and move on.
That's what I told him. I said, you blame that soft center of yours that like flop all the time. That man didn't take over the game, but to get to it, man, it was a good morning, fellas. Happy holidays again. We got New Year's coming up.
Yes, sir.
Man, it seems like the Christmas season has been giving to Atlanta, really Georgia sports fans all together. Let's just be honest. Dogs, Falcons, and now the Hawks. Now, the question is this, fellas. Can we continue to keep this momentum going? Because this is something we haven't seen with the Atlanta Hawks. You know, Quinn had to get his system in. I'm still hard on him and whatnot, pause. But the defense that you're seeing is really, really amazing because think about it. When did we see Trey playing defense coming up through his time since he's been in Atlanta? When have we really seen our team start to become a defensive team, fellas? Love the mug, by the way.
Oh yeah, man. To be honest with you, it started last season. Oh, go ahead, T.
No, you good, man. It's just a gift from my oldest daughter. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, brother.
No, I would just like to say you seen it as far as like last season. Trey started trying to give a little bit more effort on defense, but honestly, when you got Dyson Daniels, I'm sorry, it just like he's like the glue guy when it comes to the defense thing, man, because he has an important role, and his energy has came into the Atlanta Hawks franchise. And it's just been infectious. I'm sorry. It really has. You have everyone, the whole team likes to play defense now. You have guys like Bogey, somebody who was never known for defense, out there having a game where he's getting 5 steals. Bogey? Come on now. It's just like
when Bogey plays for his country, Bogey is a different player. Let's just be honest. I don't know. That's the Bogey I look for. Exactly. That's why I was like, no, Bogey plays defense, but he does it for his country.
The Hawks jersey.
You ain't lying, man, because when we saw him play, like you said, you watched him play in the Olympics, Bogey is a different animal when he playing for his country.
Right.
But and I got to give DeAndre Hunter, you know, I'm up here in his hometown of Philadelphia, but he's really from Norristown, which is right outside of Philly. You know, we're starting to see that Philly grit come up out of this kid's game. You're starting to see a lot of that Philly grit come out of his game. So when you look at him, you know, we sit back and say we got 2 Philly boys that were first round picks in our organizations. Kyle Pitts with the Falcons, and now you got Dre Hunter, who's the Hawks or whatnot. And you sit back and laugh and say, where the hell is the toughness with the tight end? You might need to go hang out with your boy Dre and figure it out and get some of this toughness in you and start to become a better baller, because Dre was always hurt and then he was a little tender-footed. But, man, since Dyson Daniels came, man, we've seen a whole new Hunter, bro.
He don't have to do it all by himself, man. I said it when we first got Dyson. I was like, well, Dre finally doesn't have to do it all by himself. And even Dre himself has came out his own mouth and said it too. exact same thing. Well, I ain't got to do it all by myself anymore. You know, so I can give more effort on the offensive end. Whatever the team needs me to do, they need me to play defense, I'm gonna play it. They need me to play offense, I'm gonna play it. You know, and you know, it's just a testament of the things that he doesn't have to deal with. Now, I do feel like, you know, as a team, we do have to clamp up a little bit more. Well, shoot, a lot of bit more. We have to box out a lot of bit more. We have to rotate, switch, and we also need to stay with our man a lot of bit more. But at the same time, man, I'm not going to take anything away from last night's victory. I wouldn't dare. Dyson Daniels is a difference maker. Robert Blackman has been saying it all year. And I'm a witness to him saying it every time because it's the truth. He is a difference maker, and he's come to this team, made a difference, and now, man, we're seeing it, man. This is a young team. Dyson Daniels is 21, Ricochet is 19. And you're seeing that these guys, you know what I'm saying, they're all uplifting one another no matter what the age is. So I'm just happy that this is a quality win because you came back from 21. Not necessarily, you know what I'm saying, a quality opponent, but it was a team that's had your number 5 out of the last 6 times. So that's something that you can build off of too, finally being able to get that win against a team that's had your number. So build off of it. Continue to build. That's what I got.
Is Dyson akin to nitrous oxide for this Hawks engine? And the reason I say that is because I cannot. Yeah, that's a little on the nose, but I cannot remember in recent years a player that has impacted other players to rising up. Because to Ryan's point, Trey did increase his defensive effort. I can't talk. He did increase his defensive effort last year, but he's playing 100% better on defense this year. It's not even close. Trey,
but here's the thing:
everybody is playing like they have embraced defense. They have embraced that as a part of the culture. And I really feel like that is all Dyson Daniels, and not just his defense, but his attitude and being willing to do whatever you guys need me to do. I think that is permeating throughout that locker room, and he has infected this team, not only with defensive effort, but unselfishness. Can we talk to that? Ryan, Chris, you guys agree? How do you feel about that?
I think when you look at the defense and whatnot, first off, defense is in the Cowboys game. The great Nolan Richardson, John Thompson, they always talked about the players that they wanted. They wanted guys that had a dog-type presence to where they're going to play defense. All the great coaches always say that. But then when you see the players that go to the NBA, they are more offensive-generated players. But when we see what the Hawks have become, from being just a prolific scoring team to you being able to shut down a team that can score a lot of points that we've had problems with for years. We've had problems with Kobe White in Chicago for years.
Yeah.
And you're seeing not just Dyson Daniels, you're seeing a lot of guys, as we said, that normally weren't heavy on the defensive side. They've taken up the challenge and said, I'm not going to be that guy that's going to let this team down. I'm going to play defense. And the beautiful part about this whole thing is watching everything come together. Like, it's a lot of intricacies that everybody can always get better. But the thing is, they're winning games. That is the main thing right now. They're winning games, and it's consistent winning at that. And that's something that we really haven't really had in a minute, to where we have to worry about a play-in spot. We ain't got to worry about that this year. We actually got a team that possibly are going to get us a seed where we're not in the play-in because of defense. I don't want to hog too much of it, Chris. So what you think, A1?
Oh, I mean, shoot, I'm with you on that, man. I said I believe the Hawks can be – my bold prediction last show was the Hawks being a top 4 seed. So I'm staying right there until they show me different.
Wow, you got them that low? I was going to say 3.
Well, the thing about it is they can get there. They definitely can get there. But the fact that they're still a young team, still putting it all together, can be up and down. I feel like, you know what I'm saying, 4 or 5 is like the basement of that. But yeah, I can put them at 4. Shoot, 3 would be great too. Shoot, 2 would be even better. But I think regardless, though, I think the key point is I don't think that they're a play-in team anymore. I think that they actually can be a playoff team. You know what I'm saying? Don't the Hawks Invitational. I believe this year going to have to find somebody else to be into it. It's not going to be the Hawks this year. That's what they've been calling the Atlanta Hawks Invitational the past couple of years, being in the play-in. But now,
but here's the funny part: that play-in, like you said, is not the play-in I'm worried about. Most of the time when we get to the playoffs, we're out of gas because of that play-in. You know what I'm saying? Physically and mentally. I think that's going to be one of the best things that we have, and we can get one of those seeds where we're not a play-in team and we're at full strength. We got time to rest guys and whatnot. I think that we're going to be a difference maker in the playoffs. I'm not saying we're going to win the finals, but who's to say we don't go on a run like we did in 21 and get to the finals, because we were really a turned ankle away from going. Let's just be honest.
Yes, I'm telling you, I'm a firm believer in that.
I still to this day say that Gucci Mane looking rough, because he looked exactly like Gucci Mane. If you look at the pictures, I can't think of the brother's name. Literally saw Trey coming and he stood there. Like, man, you could have moved out of the way. But it's all good. Water under the bridge, because we wouldn't have Quinn here if we would have won with Nate McMillan. Nate would still be here if we would have won the finals. So if we might not have a defensive type of team that we have right now. And there's no disrespect to Nate, because Nate was a hell of a player during his day and a hell of a defensive player and a guard when he played back in the day. It was just the fact that he just couldn't relate. He just couldn't relate to a lot of the younger guys. And I'm all about old school coaching, because I feel like
he was outdated. I feel like Nate was a little bit outdated. Still great coach, still great mind, but I just believe he was outdated, and he just couldn't relate to the guys anymore.
Could you imagine?
I'm sorry, Ryan. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask a question, and I want T. Will to answer this one.
Yes, sir.
T. Will, could you imagine the Hawks if we had this Hawks team? If we had Mark Jackson as the head coach, no disrespect to Quinn, but I wanted Mark Jackson or Udoka outside of Quinn, but we never gave him a shot. But could you imagine Mark Jackson with a team like this?
Honestly, I mean, that would be phenomenal. And no, I couldn't, because and a lot of people don't know this. Your current Golden State Warriors, Mark Jackson constructed that team. Mark Jackson built those guys. Mark Jackson built that guy and built those guys from Clay to Steph to Green. Green, right, to everybody that was with them. Like, he made that team. And of course, he left and Steve Kerr came in, and the rest is history. But that team was originally constructed by Mark Jackson. And I think he installed toughness in them and a lot of that. So, it's sad, but I mean, I think they would do well. Like, you could do a lot worse than Mark Jackson as a coach. So, I mean, damn, you put something in my head there, Ryan. I'm gonna be thinking about that all day. Yeah, man. But
no, I had to, T. Will, because guess what? I like the content that you put out. I like some of the scenarios that you come up with the show. Yeah. Same with A1. And this is just something, like I said, man, I like I said, I'm a fan at this point. I'm not coming in as an analyst. I'm a fan at this point of the Hawks, because not my specialty, but I can do it if I needed to. But you guys, y'all do a great job when you talk about the Hawks, and just shout out, and also Damon and those boys too. We Talk Hawks TV. All y'all do a great job on breaking down the Hawks. But man, I it was just a thought, because I feel as if that's a guy that deserved a chance, and I feel like hell, Atlanta would have been a great place for him. But I got to give Quinn his roses, because Quinn has turned this team into a defensive juggernaut. The question now is this with Quinn: can Quinn win in the playoffs? Regular season has never been his problem. It's always been the postseason. Yeah. So do you guys think we can win with Quinn in the playoffs?
Well, the thing about it is we all got to learn, right?
Yeah.
We all got to learn. We all got to learn from our past mistakes. The thing about it is, at least this guy does have some experience in the Western Conference where it's tougher to play, tougher to win. He wasn't able to get over the hump, no, but hopefully he learned from that and come to the Eastern Conference with this Atlanta Hawks team and possibly see situations that happened before and be like, okay, I know what to do now because I've seen this situation. This is a different team. He has a different group of athletes too. You know, so that Utah Jazz team, you know, it was kind of like ran just by like two guys, and that was Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. This team is different. It's not all one guy. It's not just two guys. We have multiple guys that's putting the team first and playing within the game, playing role positions. And man, you just seeing it all come together with Quinn's leadership right now. I mean, does he make the best decisions all the time? Of course not. He's still, I think, learning what this team can do too. I think he's really generally learning what this team can do too. I think last night he knew how resilient his team is, but I think it just went up a notch last night too with Quinn and just with the whole team. This win last night is going to fully bring this team together. I'm not saying that we're going to go win 15 straight. I'm not going to say that, but it'll be lovely. I do believe we can start putting together some wins, y'all, and really, you know, since starting to separate ourselves as one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference, man. But it's all on the Atlanta Hawks. It's right there in front of them, though.
What if, and this is a question I got for y'all. So when you look at what Quinn is doing defensively, when has Quinn really had a team full of scorers that play defense? Like you said, he only had two guys out there in Utah. He's got a team full of guys that can actually get buckets, even off the bench. So when you look at that, how does that transition into the postseason? Because this is the last thing I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna hop off because I got to get back to work, but I'm definitely gonna be listening to y'all. This seems like this is the year of resilience, man. You look at Georgia team, and I go back from the Braves last year with all the injuries they had, and they had a resilient streak to get to the playoffs. Unfortunately, lose. And then you look at the Georgia Bulldogs right now; they're in the postseason with lost the quarterback, had injuries all year and adversity. You look at the Falcons. The Falcons have shown resilience, even though it hasn't been consistent. And now you're seeing the resilience with the Hawks. It seems like all the teams that we pull for and we root for are really showing a resilience, a toughness, and a grit about Georgia sports at this point, and letting folks know that this is not your granddaddy's Georgia sports team. This is a new time where you're gonna have a little bit more resilience and a fight on your hands when you play. So don't think it's sweet. So how do y'all feel about the resilience that you're seeing with all these teams, fellas?
You know, Ryan, that's a great point. I agree. I agree 100%. Even going back to the Braves, the fact that they made the playoffs last year spoke volumes to not only their character, but the management team that runs the team anyway. The Braves lost 6 key starters, and I don't know any other team that could have weathered that and make the playoffs. So kudos to them. Look at the Bulldogs, lost 2 teams and it still ended. I'm sorry, 2 games this year, and still ended up, hey, the number 2 seed. And not only that,
and lost their 2 best receivers. Think about it. Their 2 best receivers in Ra Thomas and Kobe Young, and have been plagued with drops all year, and they're in the playoffs.
Yep, and lost quarterback in the SEC championship.
Yep, Carson Beck.
And
he done for the year too, right?
Yeah.
Yep, he got UCL surgery.
Ooh, good Lord.
But they say the procedure went well, so he's debating on whether he's coming back or not. And a lot of people give Carson grief, but I want people to go back and look at his completion percentage. Carson has the highest completion percentage in Georgia Bulldog history. So if you're gonna trash the kid or whatnot, think about it. This man did this with backup receivers and receivers that wouldn't be starting anywhere else.
Yeah.
So just imagine if he had a great receiving core, what the Heisman race would have actually looked like.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he probably had that receiving core like the Dogs had a couple years ago, boy, like what Stetson had.
But I just love the fact that we got a resilient bunch of teams right now. And this is a great time to be a Georgia sports fan because we've
Yeah.
dealt with so much disappointment. But
Hey,
all
Kerry.
I can say is, man, I appreciate y'all having me on. What's up, Kerry? I'm getting ready to get back to this money, and I definitely love what y'all are doing. Y'all, please hit this like and subscribe button for this brother because he puts in a lot of work, does a lot of great things on this platform.
Yes, sir.
Also, shout out to A1 because he does his thing. So if you're not subscribed to his page, you need to subscribe to him. You're doing yourself a disservice and a discredit to your sports acumen if you're not tapping in with these two brothers right here. So I appreciate y'all having me on.
Tell them where they
Y'all
can
know where
find
to find me.
Yeah, tell them where they can
The
find you.
Birdcage, the Birdcage LLC. You either get right or you get left. We have interviews, talking Falcons football, and just really, and we got a fan segment where we let folks come through on Sundays before the game to voice their opinions as well, so you can be heard. This is what we do. So again, it's free 99. Hit that like button. I'm out. Y'all have a blessed day, fellas.
You too, Ryan. Thanks for joining us, man. Appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Chris, if you got some time, I'd like to shift gears to our Falcons here. We got everybody here. May as well take advantage of it. Let's shift gears to some Falcons. Looks like Jack's going to be a little late with one time for the fans. So we could probably extend this another 60 minutes if you got it. If you don't, I understand. But let's.
Well, I don't have another 60 minutes, but I still can give a few minutes before I got to get up out of here and talk a little Falcons.
I appreciate that, sir. I'll take what I can get. You'll get no complaints out of me. So let's look at last week's game and give me your take on when I say last week's game. I mean, obviously our thumping of the Giants, right? So let's talk Falcons. Let's get into it. Michael Penix Jr. comes out. He's great. He has a phenomenal game. He's outstanding. The only blemish on that game was the interception that really wasn't his fault. Kid played great. Give me your takeaways, not just from Penix, but from his potential impact on this team in this season. Go ahead.
Well, Penix is a breath of fresh air. We was going in the wrong direction. At one point in time, we were swagging and surfing at 6-3, but now we are in a battle. We are in a battle for the NFC South title, for a battle to get into the playoffs. And honestly, man, that newfound energy, you got to bottle that up and take that on the road and take it everywhere that you go. Michael Penix, he can make all the throws. He has the mind, the intelligence. I like the fact how he will throw the ball away, live to play another down. He doesn't really have negative plays. I know it was one game, but you can tell that he just likes to drive the ball forward, keep moving forward, not lose it down for no unnecessary reason. But yeah, man, I like what I see from Penix, man. The guy's, like I said, he has a cannon. His arm is amazing, but it's not just about his arm. It's his decision making. It's his ability to manipulate the defenders. It was a couple of plays to where he was able to manipulate the defender to moving the defender with your eyes. You know what I'm saying? The defenders, they're leaning one way, and then boom, he drops the pass right behind where the linebacker just was at, you know what I'm saying, on a slant play. Darnell Mooney taking off, getting an extra 10, 15 yards because of it. It's plays like that. It's plays to where you're putting the ball placement is something that's as well. He has the confidence to put the ball where it needs to be. You heard plenty of times in the mic'd up sessions, if you guys listen to Drake London, plenty of times Drake London uplifting Michael Penix, saying, "Hey man, good ball, 9. It's a great pass. Hey man, let's keep it going." Stuff like that, man. Like the players are confident with this young man, and the poise is unmatched. The man will stand in the pocket, know he's about to get hit, still deliver the ball. His first pass to Ray McCloud, that ball would have died in the dirt if that was Kirk Cousins. Okay? Died in the dirt. It'd have been skipping up. And that's, I'm not trying to, bash Kirk. I'm just saying the ball in that situation, Kurt having to throw it, that ball probably been skipping up to Ray Ray McCloud. But the ball got into Ray Ray McCloud's hands.
Hit it in the chest.
It was in his
Hit
hands.
In Say it with the chest,
he
Ray.
just dropped it.
Hit it with the chest.
Yeah, and he just dropped it. It was all, he can make all the throws. He has all the confidence. I'm happy that he's my quarterback. I'm happy that we did go get yet another quarterback, because if we didn't have another quarterback right now, we could have been rolling with Taylor Heineke. And, you know what I'm saying, just to imagine that. We could have been rolling with somebody else, you know, and I'm happy that we went, even though we did spend money on Kurt, and even though it's an expensive backup, it's an expensive situation that you had to put Penix in, you know, so I hate it for our salary cap, but at the end of the day, we'll get out of it. It's just, I'm happy that we have a quarterback for the future, and we have a quarterback for the now. And like Michael said, the confidence and the poise, man. Yep, all those intangibles, he does have them. He has them all. You see why they took this guy. You see why they went out there, had the private workout to see what he has. You're seeing why he fought, you know, the Hawks. Still got my Hawks hat on. But you see why the Falcons took him, and you see why they're excited. We should be excited too. I'm telling you, if he can go in his second start, it's a tall task. And really, I feel like it's unfair to ask. But at the same time, you're in the NFL. This is what you're getting paid to do. This is what you've been waiting for your entire life, right? So he can go in there in Washington, beat Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders on the road, a place to where Washington has only lost twice, and that's to the Steelers and the Cowboys at home. If he can go in there and make us the third team, I'm telling you, man, do-rags are going to be sold out across America.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will. Let me tell you something. This kid is special. Because not only can he make the throws, but he has touch, right? Yep. There are very few guys that can throw it with the velocity that he can, but those that do a lot of times are just akin to just gunning it every time. And it seems like this kid has learned when to do that, right? When to, hey, this has got to have some mustard on it, and when to just put it out there. He throws a beautiful spiral. I mean, just beautiful. Again, guys, we are lucky to have this guy. Now, Chris, to your point, you could make an argument that if we do not sign Cousins, we do not get Penix, because some folks would have traded up to get him. The Saints wanted him. At least another team wanted. I think the Broncos wanted him. But they didn't think.
I know for a fact the Raiders did. Just from talking to Raiders fans, they like, listen, we were trying to see if we could trade up to y'all's spot to go get Penix.
Yeah.
But that's another thing too, though. You think about it. I mean, it's rumors that Terry wanted Latu, but Arthur was like, I want Michael. So, you know, so at the end of the day,
I'm glad he did.
Because I don't think to be honest with you, without coming into it, you know what I'm saying, I think they wanted a defensive player. If that last workout didn't happen with Penix, we would have went defense finally.
Probably.
I really believe that. that without that workout. And honestly, we'd have been up, you know what's creek right now if we did. But you know what I'm saying, because 100%. We would have had a quarterback. We would have been game over.
Who was it? Trey from the Water Boys that said Arthur was quarterback broke, and he said he'd never be quarterback broke again.
I mean, but we was in quarterback purgatory for 3 years.
Absolutely.
Quarterback purgatory.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, that's including even the tail end of Matt. You know what I'm saying? I love Matt, but Matt wasn't Matt. You know, so when we first got Kyle Pitts, he was on the way down. And honestly, we were able to get something for him, something that we was able to use. So, hey, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is with that. Still love Matt. Always going to love Matt Ryan. You know what I'm saying? He's still a Falcon at heart, too. You can tell just when he does his takes, you can tell he's still a Falcon at heart.
Amen.
So he's, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, and then after that, Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ridder, you know what I'm saying? Taylor Heineke. It just, you know, it just did not work out. And then even with Kurt, you know what I'm saying? It was an experiment that only half worked out. You know what I'm saying? It still is not, you know, it's a guarantee. It still wasn't a home run. You still, you know what I'm saying, going to have to figure out a way to cut them or figure out a way to trade them, whatever you're going to do, whatever you're going to do with them. At the end of the day, the future is now. So, you know, at the end of the day, hey, man, I'm here for it. I'm here for Michael Penix. I'm here for Kirk Cousins backing up Michael Penix, as in, you know what I'm saying, giving him that encouragement that he needs, et cetera, man, that is going to happen for him. And Kurt is still a stand-up guy. He's still a great teammate. You can see it, like, you know, he's rallying up Michael Penix, giving him that confidence, letting him know, hey, man, I'm here for you.
Yeah. No, man,
So,
look it. I think it's one of the great ironies in life that your free agent that you signed for $180 million opened the door for you to draft your franchise quarterback for the next 10 years.
Right.
So you know, in the long run, you know, let's say Penix is here for 10 or 12 years and we get 2 rings with him, then that Kirk Cousins move was absolutely successful. If for nothing else, then it opened the door for the Falcons to get access to Penix, which wouldn't have been there had we not done that. You get what I'm saying? Had the impression not been, well, it's no way, you know, they just signed Cousins for $180 million. It's no way these Atlanta Falcons will go and draft Penix, and that's exactly what we did. That's probably not an option for us if we don't sign him. So in that way, you know, it's successful. Now, you know, in the short term, probably not, you know, but we took a swing. We took a swing. We missed. At least we took a swing. I got to give this Falcons, you know, regime credit for taking a swing, recognizing that you were deficient at the quarterback position and going after it and getting it. Look, it doesn't always work out, but sometimes it leads to something great. Look at, you know, some of us, you know, before we met our spouses, we had to go through a bad relationship, you know, first. And that was definitely me. So, you know, if it wasn't for that previous relationship, I wouldn't have found the love of my life. You know what I mean?
Would you say, T. Will, it was definitely you?
Look, that bad relationship, I hate to say it like this, but that was my Kirk Cousins. It led me to, you know, my wife that I've been married to for 31 years. And not that Kirk is a bad guy. He's not. I'm not saying that. I'm simply saying Kirk was the gateway to Penix. And if that's what we had to do, then gosh darn it, that's what we had to do. Look it. I think this kid's great. I think this kid's going to be here for years, God willing. I think this kid's going to win a lot of games. That Falcons team looked better. They looked energized, and he hadn't practiced with these guys for a week. I think that connection is going to get better. It's only going to get stronger. And I think we're going to score a whole lot of points. And with the defense we got, hey, man, we got a shot. You know, we definitely
starting to turn the corner.
We have a shot to do some things, man. It's interesting. It is interesting. Let's talk about the must-dos that this Falcon team has to execute in order to have a chance to win coming up. In your mind's eye, what do we have to do to win this game?
Run the football. We have to run the football. Nah, he ain't no regular rookie. He really ain't. He's not. But yeah, we have to run the football. I think running the football, this defense and the Washington Commanders give up 4.8 yards per carry on the ground. I think the Falcons need to take advantage of that. We have running backs, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. You know, so they just seen Saquon Barkley. Saquon had a good day on the ground. You know, even they were able to overcome turnovers. I think they had 5 turnovers. Jaden Daniels still able to throw 5 touchdowns. They didn't have their quarterback. Jalen Hurts was hurt. They had Kenny Pickett, so the offense couldn't really go anywhere outside of Saquon Barkley. But I think they have to run the football more than anything else. Control the time of possession, control the tempo. That's how you're going to go in there and beat a team who is not used to losing at home. You know what I'm saying? Rely on that run game. And also, you know what I'm saying, open the playbook up just a little bit more for Michael Penix. You know, so let's see what Michael Penix can do, because it's going to be instances to where they're going to probably try to load the box and try to see if you make you throw the ball. thing about it is I'm confident in Michael Penix's accuracy, his ball placement, his arm, and his decision making. I mean, I know it's after one game, but I'm just banking on the same guy that I seen in college turning it on in the pros. And that's what I'm banking on, bro. We got to rely on that run game, allow the to make things simple for our quarterback, make things second and manageable, third and manageable, keep him out of those long situations, even though he does have that cannon arm, just make it easy for him. The play calling, situational play calling from Zach Robinson has to be on point this game. This team likes to score points. They scored 26 points in 5 of their last 7 games. Talk about the Commanders. Mm-hmm. So, our defense has to be up for this. AJ Terrell has been one of the better corners really since the bye week. He's been one of the better corners in the NFL. They're barely throwing to his side at all. He's like the 3rd best corner right now as far as like being targeted. So it's just like, hey, man, we have things set up for us to possibly win this game. We have like set up a blueprint. And at that same time, fam, Jaden Daniels, even though he's been playing all season, he's still a rookie too. And the good thing about it is they don't have a lot of film on Michael Penix. The only thing they got is the Giants game. So good luck to the defensive coordinators over there trying to figure out this kid too. Yeah. You're going to have to go back to college days because you don't have NFL film on them. Right. Only thing you have is the Giants game, and it's going to be other things that the Falcons should be using that, so they haven't seen from Michael Penix, because it's just the only thing they're going to be looking at is, okay, well, Kirk Cousins making this. Well, first of all, different arm, different spiral, different arm strength. Mm-hmm. So, again, that can be an advantage for the Atlanta Falcons, man, not having a lot of tape out there for Michael Penix. So it's not a lot to really game plan for. You can game plan for it. You can try to simulate it however you possibly can. But same difference, guys. It's the same difference. They do not have a lot of film on him, and I believe it's going to benefit the Falcons in a big way. I think it can.
It's a definite advantage. Let me tell you something. And I said this, and I was kind of happy that they went to Penix when they did, because there's not a lot of game plan. You don't know what you're walking into. He has an arm, but you don't know what you're walking into. You don't know the plays that we're going to run. You don't know. And that is a definitive advantage for the Falcons. 100%. Mm-hmm. I agree with you. We need to play keep away. We need to run that ball. You know what I mean? We need to be at least 55-45 run versus pass, or maybe even 60-40, but we need to run the ball, if for nothing else, than to win the time of possession by a lot and keep the ball away from this Washington Commanders offense, because they are dynamic. Look, you can do everything right? You can do everything right. The thing about the great ones, and I think Penix is going to be a great one, and I am quite confident that Jaden Daniels is going to be the great one. You can make all the right calls, and they can still beat you because they can improvise. Jaden Daniels is great at improvising when nothing is there. He is outstanding at it. So the best way to beat him is to keep him off the field. Look at first quarter, first half, we need 2 6-7 minute drives for touchdowns, right? That's 12 minutes. There's what, 30 minutes? Look, if you can do 12 minutes and a touchdown, another 8 minutes and a touchdown or field goal, that's 17 points in the first half, and you leave them 12 minutes to do something. That's what you got to do, right? You gotta win this time of possession battle by 2-1. 2-1. So if 60 minutes, if you keep it for 40 and they have it for 20 and you score points when you do, that's the best way to do it. Now, the other thing is, and Washington, I have this up. Washington is 5th in offense, right? It's eerily similar, or it's eerie how similar this team is to the 2016 Falcons. What are you saying, T. Will? Pump your brakes, T. Will.
What are you saying, T. Willer?
I'm about to tell you there, homie. So what I'm saying is, this team likes to put foot on necks. They like to get up by a lot, and then they like to rush the quarterback. They're terrible against the run, right? And our 2016 Falcons, look, we were, especially after game 9-10, we were up on 20 points on opponents by halftime. We were
Right.
demolishing opponents by halftime. And so, you know, Dan, for the 2016 team and this team, the Dan Quinn way is to get up on teams by at least 2 scores. In other words, put you in a position where you have to pass and then get after it, right? To Michael's
Right.
point, they're terrible against the run. They're terrible
Mhm.
against. Let me illustrate that. They are terrible against the run. They are 30th in stopping the run. Now that could be because they
I'll
don't.
say it.
You have to see context. It could be that they don't have to do it that often, right?
Right.
Could be
And then I told you, man, it's like you having Bijan and those guys, man. Bijan like averages almost what they give up. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then you have Tyler too, man. You gotta
Yeah.
run that ball, man.
Oh, you got to be able to run the ball. And also to Michael's point, Falcons have the number 1 pass rush defense in the last 5 to 6 weeks, which proves Terry is the problem and this team is loaded. This team is loaded. What it proves is, you know, what was somebody doing prior to the past 5-6 weeks? I'm not going to get into that, but it's at least worth a thought or a conversation. Look at why did it take us to week 11 or 12 to finally do what we should have been doing the entire year? And again, you know, we'll get to that, but Michael has a point. As a matter of fact, I think this team has the most sacks. I know in the past 4 weeks.
I know we got 16. I know we got that since the bye week.
Yes, we have 16 sacks, which is phenomenal. It's unheard of, right? We might end up. We have 2 games left. We could end up with 35 sacks, which from where we started would be phenomenal, right?
Right.
But look it to that point, if we can get up on them, right? Let's say we're up on them by 17, 20 points. I'd rather be in that position. But honestly, I'd really rather just run the ball with a ratio of 55 to 45, you know, maybe 58 to 42%, you know, take advantage of some play action passes, but run that ball down their throat, rush it for 150 yards.
Hey,
Let's get a possession lead, and just play keep away. I think that's the best way to do it, because I think that type of game is demoralizing to a team when they're used to scoring, and you just keep the ball and keep the ball and keep the ball, and they can't get you off the field, and then you get a 2 possession lead. You really put them in a position where, you know, now they gotta pass. Now, make no mistake about it, Washington likes to throw it. So this is, you know, this is not going to be an easy matchup, but I don't think it's going to be an easy matchup for either team. I think this is going to be a showdown. You know,
well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I go back to what I was saying about Michael Penix, bro. Like, they don't have a lot of film on him, so they got to do like their due diligence as much as they possibly can. Just like we have to be prepared, they have to be prepared too. They don't know exactly what we're gonna throw at them. They don't know exactly, you know, about. They know of Michael Penix's arm strength. They know of his accuracy, but you know, ain't nothing like when you get in front of the person. Ain't nothing like when you really got to play them to really see. Michael Penix is going to surprise the Commanders in different ways. I definitely believe it. But in our instance, this is the most, I think, athletic quarterback we've faced. And one thing that Jayden Daniels does is he makes plays out of empty sets. No empty backfields, man. He makes a lot of plays. You look at that Eagles game, a lot of the points that they scored, a lot of big plays was when they went empty backfield. So Falcons got to be ready for that too. This guy, he can get the ball out quick and he can throw it deep quickly. So you see he had Terry McLaurin on a pass to where, you know what I'm saying, it was like 3-step drop, and it was gone. You know what I'm saying, the ball was gone, it was in the air, and it was in the end zone in as a touchdown. So, you know, we just got to take care of business, you know, and I think we'll be okay. It's not going to be easy. I don't expect it to be easy at all. But this will be a quality win. We've been picking up quality wins as Atlanta teams, you know what I'm saying, lately. Let's keep it going. This is a team that if you get this W, I think people can be like, okay, now that's a real quality win. More so than the Giants, a team who you were supposed to beat anyway. You know, and being as terrible as they were. I know rolling in a new quarterback and everything, but the Giants are just bad. So it's just like you had to beat those guys.
Well, I mean, look at you saw what happened the week before. The Raiders are just as bad. They suck just as much, and
we didn't have Michael Penix either.
What a difference a week makes, right? So I think that this Falcons team is going to go in there and compete. I think Penix gives us the best chance to win. And look at if we can get a full effort from all facets of the game, and we're gonna need that because this kid's still a rookie, so we're gonna need our special teams to show up. We're gonna need our defense to show up. But if we can do that, if we can play well in all three facets of the game, I like our chances against anybody. I really do. Let me ask you this question: fact or fiction? The Falcons finished the season with 35 plus sacks, which would mean they're at 26 now. They'd have to get 6 in one game and 5 in another. Back to fiction. Falcons finished the season.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I have faith in the logo. I have faith in my team, but I'm gonna say fiction. I'm gonna say that they get to the 30s, but I don't think 35.
35.
I don't think that. Now I ain't gonna lie. They come out this game and sack Jaden Daniels 6 times, and then go out there and sack Bryce Young 5 times. Am I mad? Hell no. But
actually, my math is wrong. It would be 9 sacks, not 11. Okay. So that's 5 in one game.
Yeah. You're right. 26. Yeah. Could have been 37. So yeah. But either way it go, 9 sacks. Either way it goes, I think we can get close. I think we can get into the 30s. I think we can probably get Jaden Daniels at least about 3-4 times, and then probably Bryce Young about the same. So we'll be right there. Maybe we can get about 8. Maybe we can get about 8, maybe or 9. I feel confident that we can get them because we've been getting them lately. Oh man, I just don't want to go too high. So I'm gonna still say fiction. It's gonna be close though. I think we get over 30.
All right, all good. I'm gonna say fact.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
This Falcons team has gotten 4, 3, and 3, and 4. I think because we now. So on some level or another, yeah. So that just means the next 2 games we need 4 and 5. You know what? I'm gonna look. Book it. I'm gonna
go for it.
I'm gonna be finished with 35 sacks. I'm
with it. I'm happy.
I'm gonna say we get after Jaden Daniels, and I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, but and there's nothing wrong. And the thing about it is, T. Will, I want you to be wrong and want you to be right and me to be wrong. I want me to be wrong and everything. Yeah, man. Shoot, man. I don't care, man. Go get 40. Hey, go get 40.
I think we can do it, man. I think we can do it.
Quarterback, go get 40.
I think we can do it. All right, fact or fiction? Falcons clinch the NFC South this weekend.
Man. That's tough because we still need outside help. So that's tough. But you know what? On this one, I'm going to go ahead and jump off the porch. I'm going to jump off and I'm going to say the Falcons, by the time they're doing pre-games, by the time that they're, running out there on the field, the Falcons are going to know if they win, they have the division. I'm going to say that. If they win, they have the division. So I'm saying the Carolina Panthers are going to keep pounding and take care. It just sounds funny as hell even saying it, but keep pounding. But anyway, they're going to keep doing that, and they're going to take care of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for us. They owe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and you think about it, if they would have beat them in overtime before, we would already probably had this already taken care of. But I think the Panthers are going to take care of the Buccaneers. I think they're going to catch the Buccaneers slipping. I think that, so they had them before. They let them off the hook. And I think this time they're going to grind it out. and win a close game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we're going to roll into Sunday Night Football knowing that we win, and not only are we in, but the division is ours. So that's where I'm going with it.
I'm going to say fact. I'm going to say fact. I'm going to say we win it this Sunday, and next Sunday we can rest some guys. I'm going to say we win it. I'm going to say fact. Michael says the NFL knows this week will be a showdown, and that's why Atlanta keeps getting the primetime flex games. Yep, that's a good point.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a flex game anyway.
Yeah, well, but I mean, look at once they saw Penix and we win that game, and you got Penix versus Daniels and the Raheem or the Dan Quinn versus Raheem Mars Bowl. I mean, look at, it was a no-brainer. Let's go. It's gonna be great. Jonathan says we have a great road record. Two guys. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we've been winning games on the road. We've been some road warriors this year, man. So we're gonna see, man. It's gonna be interesting, man. I can't wait to sit down and watch that game. I am not going to be in Washington. I heard it's going to be cold and everything, but definitely going to be at home watching the game just like everyone else, on the edge of my seat. Saying hopefully the Falcons can get this quality win, because we need this. We need a win, just like how the Hawks needed that win last night against the Chicago Bulls to help hopefully catapult them into newer heights. Same thing for the Atlanta Falcons. You need to beat the Reds. About to call them their old name. But you need to beat the Commanders. You need to beat the Commanders, because honestly, we've been letting the Commanders off the hook. Especially last year, they had no business winning that game. 0. With Sam Howell and everything like that. Drake London had a career day and everything against that secondary. Different secondary this year. Marshawn Lattimore may be out as well. So, so that's another key thing too. Drake London, Darnell Mooney, Ray McLeod, Kyle Pitts, and Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. The offense, they have a chance to possibly do something for us. And yes, Bijan is a top 5 rusher. Bijan is one of the best running backs in the league. Honestly, if Saquon wasn't doing what he was doing, I think the people would be talking about Bijan just a little bit more. I really do.
Is Bijan the Falcons MVP this year?
Is Bijan the Falcons MVP? I think you can make an argument for Bijan and his production. You also can make an argument for Jesse Bates to a degree. 4 INTs, including a pick 6 against the Giants, INT against Desmond Ridder to end the game. Jesse's been doing his thing too. So there's a couple of guys you really can look at and say, hey, man, if he keeps on playing well and trending up, and I got a video that I plan on doing about him that hopefully will be out before the weekend, Arnold Albuquerque and how he's turning the corner. If he continues to play like how he's been playing, the man in 11 games had 1 sack. I think I had 1 sack, 13 quarterback pressures, something like that. But since the bye week, he's been playing out of his mind. The man has 4 sacks since the bye week. Quarterback hits, pressures, everything like that. He's done so much in a short amount of time that it's crazy. And then you also got to think about, how Caden Ellis has been playing lately too. He's been playing out of his mind, really, since the Chargers game. So, he's been playing. He's been getting after the quarterback. He's been in the passing lanes. We still need some cover linebackers for sure. But ultimately, though, Caden Ellis has been playing out of his mind. This defense, they've been taking care of business. You could even think Drake London. Drake London has been an MVP type of player because he's been coming up with big catches. He's been making big plays. He'll get in there and mix it up, as you've seen on Sunday. And man, honestly, I think he's like the best blocking best blocking wide receiver in the NFL. That's just my opinion, because he will set the edge, he will seal it off, so the running back will be able to get in. Bijan Robinson has a touchdown last week because of the blocking that Drake is able to do. So it's a couple of guys that you can look at and you can be like, hey, man, this guy can be an MVP. This guy can be an MVP. But Bijan has been doing it all year long. He's going to eclipse over 1,200 yards on the ground this Sunday because all he needs is 4 yards. He's definitely going to get that, especially against this defense. I think he's definitely going to get that. So he's going to be over 1,200 yards. He has 10 touchdowns. I think he can get 11 and 12 on Sunday. So let's just see what we got, man. But I'm going to have to get ready to slide on up out of here, T-Will, man.
Understood, man.
Man, I really appreciate, you know what I'm saying, doing this show with you, talking about these Atlanta Hawks and these Chicago Bulls. Atlanta Hawks come back from that 21-point deficit, man. Historical comeback. Absolutely loved it. Don't want to get behind the 8 ball like that again, but shoot, love the excitement of being able to come back and win a game like that. And I know it's probably raining in Atlanta, but it's definitely storming in Chicago right now. And
they are.
and man.
Yeah, man.
Yep. And shout out to these Atlanta Falcons again on Sunday. We're going to see exactly what we got. Sunday night football. Get your popcorn ready, get your wings ready, whatever you like to do, get it ready because it's going to be a good game, man.
No doubt about it. Chris, tell these folks where they can find you, man.
Hey, man, A1 Forever Sports, that's the platform on YouTube. Please come over, like, comment, and subscribe. Also, please, TikTok, The Real A1 Forever. Come on over, man. I got videos over there on that platform as well. Twitter and Instagram, man, A1 Forever. You should just type in A1 Forever. You should see the logo. I try to keep the logo pretty simple and the same on every platform, so it's easier to find me. Hey, man, come on over, please. Like I said, like, comment, and subscribe. Help me continue to get out here in the algorithm so more Hawks fans, Braves fans, Falcon fans, and just general sports fans can find A1 Forever Sports and make that, you know, a channel that they definitely have to come by and check out every single day because it's plenty of content on there for you to check out. Shorts, videos, lives, you know what I'm saying? Just come on through, you know what I'm saying? We'd love to have you to be a part of the A1 family.
Amen, brother. Well, hey, man, I cannot thank you enough. A1, you are always there for me, brother. And anytime I can be there for you, you know I'm going to do that. I appreciate you. Enjoy your Friday, sir. Obviously, you know, we got to link up later on tonight and discuss some stuff. But, man, enjoy your Friday. Hey, go out, do your thing, man. Appreciate you helping me with this show. And go Falcons, man. Let's go. And the Hawks play Sunday at 2:30, right?
Saturday. It's going to Saturday, Kids Day. It's going to be a Kids Day game. It starts at 3 p.m. or 3:30, I believe. Either way it goes, early afternoon. So, you know, so y'all make sure y'all support those Atlanta Hawks. Again, we're at home. Last game at home before we go on the road because I believe we play Monday or Tuesday on the road. Not sure. Don't quote me on that, but I know Saturday at 3:30. You know, so the Hawks and the Heat coming up here, and we just took care of a hard-nosed team in the Bulls, and we got an even harder team. You know, so I feel like an even tougher team in the Miami Heat. Yeah, another team that we know we've been, you know, it's been difficult to, you know, defeat on a consistent basis. So another test. Can't wait to see how the Hawks respond.
Let's do it, man. Well, hey, man, we'll see you. Enjoy.
Yes, sir.
Go Falcons, brother. I'll see you.
Yes, sir.
All right. Guys, I'm gonna hang out with you guys a few more minutes and we'll keep talking Falcons. So I want to open it up to the basically those of you in the chat. Look we gotta go in here, we gotta win. If you think the Falcons will win the division this Sunday, drop a 1 in the chat. If you think it's going to go to next week, drop a 2 in the chat. But I'm interested to know what you guys think, right? So, look, it's going to be wet. It's going to be cold Sunday night. We don't know the affect that's going to have on the passing game. You know, it could be difficult to pass, which if you think about it, that favors the Falcons because they can run the ball. I think it's supposed to be 52 degrees. All right, so Jonathan says a 1. So Jonathan feels like we're going to win this upcoming Sunday. And you know what, Jonathan? I agree with you. I don't think this Falcons team is going to mess around. I don't think they want it to come down to next Sunday because not that you can't beat the Panthers, you can. But this is your best opportunity to do it now because the Saints are a dumpster fire and you don't want it to come down to next week. You first off, you got to win. You have to win out. That is look, unequivocally, you have to win. This is the hoorah. This is the winner take all. This is a 2 men enter, 1 man leave. You got to win, right? What you don't want is you don't want to lose this Sunday and the Bucks win, and then you got to depend on the Saints next week, because I don't like those odds. So either way, you have to win this upcoming game against Washington. And look, if we win out, it's no problem. But I think, oh man, hey, look, my best friend from, one of my best friends ever, my best friend in high school. I had two best friends. That's Lamar Johnson and Kip Epps. Kip is in here this morning. Good morning, Kip. How you doing, man? Welcome, Mr. Kip Epps. Ladies and gentlemen, I've had some good times with this young man right here. We have closed more bars, and oh my goodness, hey man, back in the day, it was me and this dude, man. It was me and this dude, man. Hey, I love you, Kip, man. Thank you for joining. Good to see your face this morning, man. Hope you're doing well. I'm all right, man. How you doing, Kip? Kip is out in LA, so it's what, 6:49 there? Dang, Kip, you up early, man. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate that, brother. I really do. Wow, man. It's a blessing to have lifelong friends, man. And this brother is definitely a lifelong friend. I love this guy. And wow. Thank you for the support, brother. I appreciate that, man. Really do. Thank you, Kip. So yeah, look, the Falcons got to go into you gotta have this game. You gotta have this game. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You got to go in there. You got to win. Look, in my humble opinion, we got to win the time of possession. And we got to do it. So let's say we win this game, right? Let's say we win next week's game, and you got Washington coming to see us in the Dome that first weekend for the playoffs. How are you guys feeling about that matchup? Do you think we could beat them twice in 3 weeks, or do you think, okay, they've seen Penix one time, the advantage shifts to them? I'm going to say, number one, there's not enough film on Penix. Even if we go on to win this game, you probably need about 5 weeks of film. So I'm going to say the advantage is still with the Falcons. If you think the advantage is with the Falcons, drop a 1 in the chat. If you think the odds probably are in Washington's favor, if we see them in a matchup 2 weeks from now, go ahead and drop a 2. But let me know how you're feeling. Let me know how you're feeling. Let's talk about that. Secondly, guys, let's talk about, and let's put it this way. Kip says 1. All right. I love it, brother. I love it. Let's say this. The end of the year, you're the Falcons GM. Are you trading Kirk Cousins? Are you releasing him? What's the thought process in regards to that? Now, understand, if you release him, you're still on the hook for $67 million, right? That's just money, poof, gone. If you trade him, you may be able to offset some of the costs. Now, mind you, Kirk has a no trade clause. So Kirk ain't going anywhere Kirk doesn't want to go. And Kirk could take the standpoint, look, you either release me or I'll be the best bench guy you have, because I don't want to go to Detroit. I don't want to go to Washington. I'm sorry. I don't want to go to the Raiders. So I'm staying here, right? So let's see. Jonta says, I'm keeping him here if possible. And look, that's certainly an option, right? A lot of folks look at the money, but what if Kirk's influence is good for Penix? What if Kirk can be the Obi-Wan to Michael Penix's Luke Skywalker? What if Kirk can help him elevate, and grow to that level? A1 from day one says trade him, please. And look, that's a fair point. You want to recoup some of your revenue. I think if you do it by a certain time, maybe we save $10 million. Maybe we save $25 million next year. You're still going to pay some money, but you can definitely offset some of the cost if you trade him. So another question. You guys again are Falcons GM for the day, right? You are the Atlanta Falcons GM for the day. Are you trading Kyle Pitts in the offseason? Now, you've already signed him for next year. So, and let's think about this. Let's say Kyle goes off the next two games and into the playoffs, right? You know, let's say Kyle goes for 150 against Washington and another 150 against Carolina, get into the playoffs, we win two games, and Kyle goes off. In the offseason, are you trading him, or are you convinced that, you know what, maybe we need to keep him for another year? Right? Because if you don't trade him and you don't sign him, he just walks away for nothing. But if it comes out in the next two games and into the playoffs, it just goes off. Does his value go up, and is it worth keeping him at that point? Jonta says, I'm trading Pitt. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I can't blame you for doing that. Look at Kyle Pitts does not necessarily run routes. He doesn't necessarily finish routes. He hey man, and I don't know what's going on. We've had him for 4 years. I don't know why Kyle doesn't finish routes. I don't know why Kyle, look at I need you over there, and he's over here. He's supposed to be running a go and he runs a 10-yard stop. I don't know what the disconnect is. There's clearly one, and I feel like this Falcons team is just over it with him, which is why they don't target him. But by the same token, he is Kyle Pitts. He is a weapon. We are trying to get into the playoffs. And so look, at this point, it's all hands on deck. So I'm just asking, if Kyle goes off, I'm not saying a normal performance for 6 receptions and 70 yards, but let's say he goes off. 150 this next game, 200 against the Panthers, 3 tutties against Washington, 4 tutties against the Panthers, 8 tutties in the playoffs, gets us to an NFC championship. You'd at least have to think about it, right? You'd at least have to think about it. All right, so last question. You are the Falcons GM for the day. It is draft season, right? It is draft season. We are in the Michael Penix era, which means either this year or next year, we are going to need to look at Kyle's blind side blocker, meaning an offensive tackle. Do we re-sign Caleb McGarry? Do we go out and sign another offensive tackle off of free agency, or do we draft one? Do we go in and draft a defensive end, a for sure pass rusher in this draft? You're the Falcons GM. It's draft day. Who you picking number 1? And I'll throw it out there. If it's me, I don't really like to draft offensive linemen unless you just for sure, and it's a 100% stud, and this guy eats nails and weighs 350 pounds and can lift a car with his pinky toe. Unless you just have that Herculean pick, for me, I'm going defensive pass rush, and maybe a linebacker. You're going to need some linebackers that can cover. I think that's a deficiency of this team. We definitely, with our scheme, have edge rushers and pass rushers, but look at a special pass rusher that can get you 20 a year. Those don't grow on trees, and I think we need to do that. Looks like Jonta agrees with me. So yeah, Jonta's going edge rusher, and I think that's definitely a choice. I think that's definitely a good choice. Next thing, you're the Atlanta Falcons GM. Are you bringing back Justin Simmons next year? Are you bringing back Justin Simmons? Are you bringing back Matthew Judon next year? Okay, it's a fair question. So if you are the Atlanta Falcons GM, if you're bringing them both back, drop a 1. If you're not bringing neither back, drop a 2. If you're bringing one of the 2 back, drop a 3. So if you're bringing them both back, drop a 1. If you're not bringing either back, drop a 2. And if you're bringing one of them, drop a 3. Right? And that is Justin Simmons and or Matthew Judon. You're the Falcons GM. Are you bringing him back next year? 3. All right. So you bringing back Judon, you're letting Simmons go, and that's fair. That because to be honest, Matthew Judon, and nobody talks about this, gets held more than any defensive rusher I've seen this year. I mean, when I say he gets held, he gets mauled. I'm talking grabbing shoulder pads, throwing him down to the ground. Just wow. So yeah, I'm really thinking if it's me, I probably keep Judon, and I may not sign Simmons. I may draft a safety. I don't know what our cap situation is, but yeah, I don't think the Falcons could afford to keep both. And if I got to make a choice, it's going to be Matthew Judon. So that's fair. Guys, those of you left in the chat, give me a prediction for this Sunday's game. Give me a score. I'm going to say, I think I said this last night or on somebody's show this week. I said it was going to be 35 to 20 Falcons. I know that's that's a bold prediction, but I'm going to stand by it. You know, as the young folks say, I'm going to stand on business. And I'm going to say it's going to be 35 to 20 Atlanta Falcons. Jonta says, I don't feel like Judon had enough time. And he probably didn't. But he definitely is being held. Okay. And look, I think this recent uptick in Falcon sacks is really the manifestations of a different influence on this defense. So you can clearly see the Falcons are not playing as far back as they were on the defensive line. I think that's a part of it. I think they're blitzing more. I think they're sending Caden Ellis more. And I think all of this has resulted in more sacks. And so that opens up the question of coaching. But I think, I think the next 2 games, Falcons will get 9 sacks. And they will get to at least 35 sacks. I think they're doing well. The last question, and you guys can answer or not, because we are at 10 o'clock, and you know I'm about to end the show for all intents and purposes. If you're the Falcons GM, are you bringing back Jimmy Lake next year? Now, if it's me, probably not. I probably pivot to Jerry Gray, and Raheem and Jerry Gray can work it out. I honestly feel like that's what's going on now. I don't know that. I can't say that. You know, I don't want to speculate. I can't definitively say that is what's going on, but there's a clear shift in philosophy in defenses, and I don't know that came from Jimmy Lake. So, if I'm the Falcons GM, yeah, I'm getting rid of Jimmy Lake, and I'm going with Jerry Gray and Raheem, and we're gonna see what happens. Either way, to everyone who joined to discuss Hawks and Falcons this morning, I appreciate you. Great having this discussion with you. You could have been anywhere in the world. You chose to be with me this morning. I can't do anything but thank you for that. I'm incredibly humbled. And hey, let's keep this thing going. This is being broadcast on 4 My ATL Sports 1, the number 4 My ATL Sports, the number 1 on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe so that we can continue to bring this content to you. We typically air shows on this channel Friday nights at 7 p.m., which we won't tonight because obviously we're doing this now. And this week has been a lot, and it's the holiday, so I'm not going to do a show tonight. And we typically have one Monday morning. We will have one Monday morning to discuss, hopefully, a Falcons victory, and that one will be at 10 a.m. Monday morning on, what's that going to be, December the 30th. That'll be 10 a.m. Monday morning, and hopefully we'll be talking about a Falcons victory, and not only that, but literally outrunning the NFC South. So good things there. Guys, again, thank you to everyone who joined in the chat. Let me also thank God. Would not be here without him. Wouldn't be anywhere without him. This has been a tough year, and God has got me through it. So, God, thank you for everything. Special shout out to my wife who has been there through thick and thin, and my children. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to Chris A1 for joining me on this. Hey, Chris, definitely appreciate you, man. Appreciate everything you do, man. And of course, last but not least, I want to thank Mr. Jack Spade and Mr. Eric Parker, who is my brother, as many of you know. And both of these gentlemen gave me a start in this business, and I am eternally grateful. So, with that being said, guys, I will see you Monday morning. Have a great weekend. Good luck to all of our Atlanta sports teams. So, good luck to the Hawks on Saturday, and definitely good luck to Atlanta Falcons. Good luck to Atlanta Hawks on Saturday. Good luck to Atlanta Falcons on Sunday. And hopefully it'll be a victory Monday that we can discuss and fellowship and talk about with this coming Monday. With that being said, guys, thank you so much. Again, like, share, and subscribe to For My ATL Sports 1 on YouTube. Again, the number 4, My ATL Sports, the number 1 on YouTube. Please like, share, and subscribe so that we can continue to bring you this great content and continue to grow. And, you know, we're looking for you to grow with us and let's just build something great. So again, that is the number 4, My ATL Sports, the number 1 on YouTube. Say again, the number 4, My ATL Sports, the number 1 on YouTube. You guys have a great weekend. Again, thank you for joining. Go Falcons and rise up. Good day, everybody. Thank you. Bye-bye.